Hey Pokemon fans, it's time for a figure review video for me to finally start showing you the Pokemon TFG figures. And to start with the first set, which is Next Quest, I'm going to start by showing you the EX Rares from that Next Quest set. And to start with that, I'm going to start with the 6 figures here up in the front, which are the EX Rares from that set. We're going to look at each one of them close up and talk about basically easy ways to get them, maybe how effective they are in the games. I don't know, we're going to see just how this plays out. Also, just because this is the smallest of the sets of rarities for Next Quest, I've also got these 3 promo figures back here of the Sinnoh starters. We're going to take a look at them as well in a bit, but first, we're going to start with the figures that everyone really wants to see first, the really cool rares from the Next Quest set. And let's start in number order, of course, with Charizard. The Next Quest set generally goes in alphabetical order, and that would put Charizard here at the front of the rest of those figures back there. So I'm going to spin him all the way around so we can get a good look at Charizard here. Really, really awesome Next Quest figure. This one is actually, they have CG versions that they show for posters for the Next Quest series. He's actually, I think they have a huge statue of this one somewhere. I've seen a picture of it, and I think a picture of the Feraligatr one as well. Really crazy. I love the detail in this one. A lot of the Next Quest figures actually have clear plastic in bits like fire and things like this, and I'm kind of surprised that Charizard actually doesn't have that for how nice he looks. There we go, I'm trying to get that focus to come back up. So that's a little disappointing that we don't quite get that clear plastic look, but it doesn't really matter because this Charizard just looks insane. This is probably the nicest Charizard figure posed that I've ever seen, and I'm kind of excluding ones like the D-Yards figures, of course, because those are way out of these little things league, but I'm just talking about this itty-bitty little figure here. This is just an amazing sculpt for this Charizard. You can see that this part of the head was a different piece stuck onto its jaw. The neck and the body is another piece. You can kind of see generally how they're put together, but they're really nice. You can see that there's a lot of different brushed paint colors that are put into these things, and it's really just amazing how much work they really put into making these figures. I know, you really have to respect that. It's just insane. Kyoto does an amazing job with these, and their Charizard is definitely one of the coolest figures in the Next Quest series. If you're going to pick one of them up that you just have to have, it's probably the Charizard. So it's kind of cool we get to start with him. So I'm going to take a look now at what actually he can do in the game. So since I haven't done this yet, I'm just going to show you how these bases work. If you twist this sideways, it'll unlock this little ring here. Get that off of Charizard. The figures will slide off of their little base. Now underneath, I'll just show you the bottom because I just pulled it up. You can see the names of the figures, the number that they are in the set. Obviously there's some other ones alphabetically that came before Charizard. These are the American ones. That's the symbol for the Next Quest set. Pokemon Trading Figure Game, 2006. And the sculptor, and then just some stats about Charizard. So, with that out of the way, this is how you see some figures sometimes, especially if they come from other countries, because they did not come with their spinner bases for some reason. I guess they were sold separately. But the spinner base itself, they actually came with a little bit of an oily stuff. I just got some on my fingers, so I kind of don't want to do this too much. That's clearer plastic spoke out of a clear plastic bottom, which that oily stuff basically just helps lube up that itty-bitty slot right there so the figure spins really smoothly. I felt like I felt something just fall on my finger over there. I don't want this figure to fall apart. It's a really nice one. Sometimes these rings are a little difficult to get back on some figures like Charizard here. I'm not quite... Come on now. There we go. Really close. That was a tight one. Trying to get it back on, so I'm not really going to take these off for every figure just to show you, but come on, and we just click it shut. Come on now. Charizard doesn't want to click shut. There he goes. Alright, so the attacks on him. He has a whole huge section right here, as we see, for this attack that says Fire Spin. 50 times. So if you were in a fight with this Charizard landed on Fire Spin, it says spin until you get a result other than Fire Spin. This attack does 50 damage for each Fire Spin. So you would basically just keep spinning on this thing, and 50 alone is plenty of damage to kill most Pokemon in this game, so that is an insane move. The downside to him is he only has one movement point, so if you were going to play this, one movement point is as slow as you can go. So if you wanted to move this Pokemon on your turn, you would only be able to move it 1 point or 1 space on the board, so that's really low. He has 2 little miss options, which kind of make up for the fact that his Fire Spin is just way too strong. And then his last move here is Iron Tail, which does 60. So that's, like I said, 50 is a lot of damage, 60 is a ton of damage. Obviously the Legendary and EX rare Pokemon are going to do a ton of damage, and probably have really low movement points because they're so powerful. So, that is Charizard. I don't want to spend too much time on each figure. Generally, the Charizard, actually I should keep talking about him just for a moment because people want to know how to get them. This Charizard figure was actually released in a starter set called Flamethrower, and you can find the Flamethrower sets still. Some of them cost a lot of money, some of them you can probably get on eBay if you got really lucky in a bid, but generally it will come with some other figures. I know he will come with a Trainer Red, I believe a Trico and a Meowth you'll also get in that, which also comes with some other cool stuff like a poster of the Next Quest set, the rulebook, and you might come with a couple extra things like a trading card and things like that that were also released with these, so that'd be pretty nice. I actually got mine in a lot deal, like I said, so I got a bunch of Next Quest figures all together, and Charizard just happened to come with it, so I was really lucky to get a really nice looking Charizard, not broken or anything. Some people actually will shiny paint their Charizards. I have no idea what those go for, but I have seen it done. That's pretty sweet. Next one alphabetically, let's pick up Feraligatr, and this just looks amazing. Look at that. That is just freaking amazing. He's just like busting out of a swampy lake about to maul you or something. Kyoto did such an amazing job at figuring out how to take these Pokemon and give them the coolest of poses. Feraligatr is one of my favorites, and actually after getting this figure, he made me decide, yep, I'm gonna start hatching Totodiles, because I just finally realized how much I love Feraligatr. And a friend of mine and I also started to call him Feraligatr, just by basically reading his name incorrectly. Just because, you know, we all know how they put Pokemon names together. They just take 2 English words and kind of push them together, but we really liked calling him Feraligatr for a while, just because of how scary this makes him look. There's actually a little hair stuck on his hand right there. There, got rid of it. So, pose on this one, I can't even imagine it getting any cooler. I've seen a statue of this somewhere too, and it's insane. They actually use clear plastic for the water here. If any complaint, I kind of wish that there was a little bit more of that as clear plastic. Maybe that's just mine that is being painted a little much, making it like white. I am glad that the water coming off of him is white and it's not blue. If it was blue, one, we wouldn't see it, and water isn't blue. The base he's on actually is a little bit of clear plastic of the water, so that is pretty sweet. Really amazing figure. So like I was just saying for Charizard, you could also get this Feraligatr in the other starter set. There were 2 starter main packs, and the other one was called Riptide. This was the main Pokemon you would get in it. The trainer figure would be, I think his name was Brendan. He was the character from Ruby and Sapphire. So that figure would be your trainer figure. Then you would get, I believe it was the Pikachu and Murkrow. You would also get Murkrow. So that's pretty cool. Another nice pack you would get right there. Attack-wise, he also has just 1 movement point, so that's not very much, very slow, just like Charizard, but now that you see this 1 attack right here, he has a pretty slim chance, but still a nice chance, of landing on a very powerful 120 Hydro Pump. That'll basically knock out anything, just with sheer power. That's amazing. He also has a very large white area right here of Bite, which will do 60. Pretty good. Like if he would basically take out a Charizard if it landed on his Fire Spin and only hit it once. So that's pretty powerful. In case you're wondering, as far as I know, the types So the water type versus fire type really didn't mean anything in the TFG. Everything was just kind of fair game. It's based on either power. I'm not really going to go too much into the game mechanics because it would waste too much time. So we're just going to take a look at these guys. I'm sure we're going to make extra videos later. If you want to learn how to play the game, if you don't know already, I'm going to make more videos on that. Don't worry about it. So he has 2 small areas on miss right here. So just like Charizard, just a decent chance of missing. And then he has a purple move. The purple attacks obviously are taking priority over white, so that's actually a little bit better than the Charizard. Depending on how many stars, makes that a better purple move, so a 2-star is pretty good. Wash away, move the defending Pokemon 2 spaces away, and it has weight. So Feraligatr could basically just force his way into your goal, 1 movement point at a time, and that's just kind of scary. So really amazing TFG figure, even if you're just ignoring what they actually do. This one is just awesome to have displayed. So I'm really glad I ended up getting one of him. He was also in that lot deal, so I'm really glad I ended up finding him. The next one, over here, I believe, is Groudon. A really crazy one. This one I actually just got recently. Let's get that focus back up here so we can get a better look at Groudon. There we go. Look at this, look at this, look at this. Now, this figure is one of the first ones that you can clearly tell they're using some clear plastic. It is all in that smoke stuff coming off of Groudon as he's busting out of the earth right there. He is a really crazy one too. To get this figure, I actually found a seller who was selling one really cheaply for like $3 for me to get one. And of course, after I get it, the next 2 random packs I buy have actually I also bought a Kyogre I'm gonna get to in a bit from him for $3. And then just after that, I find a random pack Groudon, and then 2 random pack Kyogres, so I was kind of bummed about that. But I do have extras, and I'm thinking about shiny painting them, which would be really epic. So, probably going to make another video on them later. It's really cool to find these figures now, especially because of the new releases of the video games Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. So, this is a really, really awesome Groudon figure. Kind of reminds me of the Kyoto figure that just came out for Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire for their pre-orders in Japan. Kind of cool that, I mean, nice figures like that exist, but hey, for English versions, we do get these. Come on, focus, let's get back here. There's nothing back there you want to see. We want to look at this Groudon. That's what I thought. So Groudon was another EX rare. Basically, to get him, you could get a random pack like I did, or there were some packs where you could just clearly see who was inside of it. Clear plastic was covering it, and you could just tell, hey, that one's a Groudon, I want a Groudon. So he was really not too hard to get. Abilities. Down here, he basically looks like he has a 50% chance of hitting Hammer, which I guess that's an attack. 100 damage. 100 damage. That is insane. So he has a small area over here for Slash, which is 50, and 1 movement point. 2 small areas for Miss, as most of these 1 movement pointers do, just because they're so powerful, and then Blue for Dodge. Blue beats everything. Well, we think so, until you get to the 3rd set, and then there's this mysterious gold color. We don't know what it means, but Blue, in Next Quest, beats everything, including purple, which is cool. Basically, nothing happens in the fight, and this Pokemon is going to survive. So Groudon is either going to survive, or just annihilate you, which is insane. So that is a really cool one. Now, I believe alphabetically in the set next actually takes us over to Ho-Oh. So here comes Ho-Oh. Now, this Ho-Oh was also available in sets where you could see which figure you were getting, so another EX rare that really wasn't that difficult to come by. I have a couple extra Ho-Ohs that came this way, because the Ho-Ohs you could get with the random packs. You would be able to see 1 figure, or see 2 figures, I'm sorry, and 1 would be concealed. So basically that would be the only way to get concealed random figures. And some of the other ones you would get with this would be some of the Sinnoh starters, which we're going to see later in this video. So the Ho-Oh typically would come broken, just because he was on this very delicate clear plastic peg on a not so sturdy little base down here, but it really just looked really quite awesome. I really like this figure, especially how well a lot of these figures spin. I'm not even really showing how nice they can spin. They spent a lot of time focusing on their center of gravity, trying to get these figures to stand up nicely and then spin very well. Some of them actually have nice animations when they spin, so it's really nice. So this Ho-Oh is a really cool one. I love how he's just kind of taken to the sky, and this one just kind of flying in the air, because that's all Ho-Oh really does. I wouldn't imagine Ho-Oh standing still. That would just kind of be odd if he was standing on the ground. So really nice that they went for putting him on that peg. His attacks, I want to point out first, Ho-Oh actually has 2 movement points, which is crazy. He's really quick. When I was playing games with my friends, I would typically pick Ho-Oh because he's really fast and really powerful. As I said before, 50 is a lot of damage, and he has a big chunk right here for using Gust with 50. I don't know who teaches their Ho-Oh Gust, but this one knows it. He knows Fire Blast, 120, which is a pretty big chunk. That's about 25% of his spin is Fire Blast, 120, which, like I said before, that'll basically beat anything. It would be an interesting clash between a hydro-pumping Feraligatr. It's basically the only thing that could stop it. A 2-star purple Tornado Spin. It says, Ho-Oh and all surrounding Pokemon return to the bench and have weight except Ho-Oh. So that's kind of crazy. You basically just force your way back to the goal, like I said before. And a pretty big chunk of miss. Now the thing is, if you split this in half, that's basically the same as the other legendaries' miss rates. So it's not horrible, but, you know, whatever. You gotta deal with that. So if you're actually gonna play the game, Ho-Oh is actually a really cool one to fight with. Next, alphabetically, I believe we're jumping across to the other side again, looking at Kyogre! Really, really cool one. I really love this sculpt. The only problem I think I have with this Kyogre is that it's really hard to spin him, just because all this water right here, you really can't like get your fingers into this part. To spin him would have to go on this side here, and then get your finger out of the way quick. Kind of hard to spin him, but he does look really, really nice. I love how they have different blues that they painted into his paint right here, if you can even see that. He's got a real shiny look to him, just incredible look. There is clear plastic all through the water as it's painted as well. It's just another gorgeous TFG figure. So obviously they couldn't just put an entire Kyogre on top of a stand like this, and to keep the legendaries from the then recent game, which was Ruby and Sapphire, into the TFG, they had to put Kyogre on here somehow, so he's just busting out of the water, just like they did with Feraligatr. Really amazing. I love how the water trails are hanging off of his wing fin thing, which actually kind of reminds me, one of the Kyogres that I had actually ordered, it was the $3 one actually, came in with that wing thing busted off, so it was really disappointing. So I was actually kind of excited that I did get a random Kyogre to replace it. Like I said, I did have an extra one, so I'm planning on painting one of them the shiny purple magenta color, so that'd be kind of cool to see later in a video. Can barely even read these attacks because Kyogre's waves are basically taking over, but I'm going to read them for you at an angle. This purple here says Tidal Wave, move all surrounding Pokemon 3 spaces away, and they have weight. That is crazy. It's basically Ho-Oh's ability, except Kyogre doesn't have to move, but it's only a 1-star purple, so it would not take priority over another if one was stronger than that. Kyogre is just a 1 movement pointer, so very slow. Water Pulse here, it's a decent chunk, we'll do 50. He has the same miss range about as Ho-Oh, and Hydro Pump 130. So far that is the most powerful attack we've seen so far. That is insane. And actually, as far as I am aware, as far as I know, I think that's actually the strongest single hitting Pokemon in the TFG. That is crazy. I would actually have to double check on that. I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, other than Charizard's multiple spinning move, that does a ton of damage. So, Kyogre is a really awesome one. I'm going to put him back there because we're going to take a look at the last EX rare of the series, Lugia. And actually, before I forget, Kyogre, obviously just like Groudon, could also be found in single clear plastic revealed booster boxes, I guess you can call them, booster packs. I'm not sure what they actually wanted to call them, but basically he was really easy to find as well. And as I'm going to say about this Lugia here, as before we talk about him, Lugia can also be available just like Ho-Oh in some of the booster packs that came with random ones. So every single one of the EX Rare figures from Next Quest was actually really easy to obtain. It's the ordinary rares, uncommons, and commons that end up being really hard to hunt down if you're a collector. So these ones are actually not too bad to get. So that's kind of cool for us because they're really nice figures. Most of the people are probably going to go for the cool legendary ones or Pokemon they really like. So that's cool. If you're trying to collect them, it's going to start getting more difficult when we get to the rares and the uncommons. So this here is Lugia. Look at this one. This is an insane TFG. I really have a problem with this Lugia, mainly because this guy is basically making it really hard for me to display all the TFGs together, because Lugia is the tallest one. I believe he's actually the tallest TFG out of all of them. I'm not entirely sure, but he would basically need 4 inches of a little slot if I was going to put him in this too, like I say, a gridded shadow box shaped thing. He's the tallest one, so he's going to need about 4 inches tall, and then this is about 2 inches by 2 inches, this circle down here. If you ignore this little plastic spinner thing, if you set them all sideways that would work, but 4 inches tall is quite, well, he would need 4 inches just to be able to sit in there without being too snug. So he's really an incredible one. I love the pose that they have for him. Really cool. He's also flying, not really splashing out of the water or anything, which I don't know if it's just me, but I don't really like Lugia with all the water all the time because he's not water type. He's psychic and flying people. So whatever. So this is a really awesomely posed Lugia. He's one of the coolest poses that I think there is in the TFG without like any extra environmental stuff that they put into it. It's just the Pokemon posed really cool, really nice. Let's try and get a close-up on him because he is really detailed. There we go. There's a couple chips here and there you'll find on some of the TFGs, and it's not that bad. Considering how small they are, they're just incredible with how detailed they can be. So you can see there's a little bit of a stand here helping his tail stand up on that base, and each one is cleverly placed in the center so that when they spin, their center of gravity is not thrown off and they break the figures. Lugia here has a very large area of purple, which actually has a 3-star priority, which is really crazy. So this one says, Hurricane, the defending Pokemon returns to the bench and has weight. That is kind of devastating. You can basically just shove your way through, just like the other figures we're looking at. Aeroblast 90, that is a ton of damage. So that's a 1 movement pointer. Go to this other side, Aeroblast 90 again. Lugia is a destroyer. You really need something powerful to stop this thing. 2 small miss areas, which like I said, if you combine them together, that's basically the same as the other legendaries and the EX rares, and a little bit of dodge. So Lugia is actually one of the most powerful or effective TFGs to use. The only downside to him is he only has 1 movement point. So that is all the EX rares for the Next Quest series. I'm going to quickly take a look at the promos that are out here in the back, just because they, there's only 3 of them that came with Next Quest. There's more promos that were for the other sets that were either unreleased or we didn't get to see, but we should still be able to see these guys. And since this is probably going to be the shortest of the TFG videos, I'm going to put these guys here in the video just so we can at least take a nice look at them. You're going to get these Sinnoh promo figures if you get the random boxes that either have like a Ho-Oh, a Lugia, I think there's also a Eevee, Salamence, there's others, but basically those are the ones you're going to see. You're going to see a clear open box of one of them, clear open box of one of the Sinnoh starters, and then there's going to be a hidden one. And those hidden ones are the figures that basically will give you the uncommons of the set, the rares of the set, the commons of the sets, or some really rare crystal or pearl variants of the figures of the set. So those are pretty sweet. I'm actually not collecting any of the crystal or pearl figures, so I don't have any of them to show you, but you can take a look at them. They're kind of nice. Personally, I like the painted figures because I like seeing how much detail really went into these things. So I'm going to get up close and personal with this little Piplup here. You can see it's sliding on its belly on a nice little sheet of ice. It's got just an adorable little smile right there, having fun. Piplup is, I believe, a very fast one. Yep, this is a 3 movement pointer. It's probably best in your team to have a nice strategy if you're going to play the game for someone really quick. Has a very large region. Very large region. Basically, it's probably going to land right here in Peck, which does 30 damage. So if you're going up against a legendary, you're basically praying that they land and miss, because Piplup is more than likely not going to kill anything. But with this little bubble beam right here, if it lands right pointing straight at Piplup, he's going to hit you with a little bubble beam, which will do 60 damage, which is actually a lot. That could actually take out a Charizard if it only spun 50 once. So that's actually pretty good, especially for a 3 movement pointer. Usually the 3 movement pointers are very weak. Next one here is Turtwig. Show him real quick. There we go, there's Turtwig. So Turtwig, I've actually seen a lot of people, back when this series was actually being played, people were talking about how much they really liked the Turtwig figure. And it's because he has this giant blue. Look at all of that blue, that is insane. Basically, people would take the Turtwig, block the opponent who has a really strong Pokemon that's basically trying to work their way up to your goal, and they'd sit Turtwig right in front of them, and they would continuously spin, withdrawal, withdrawal, withdrawal. Turtwig has weight, nothing would happen, Turtwig would just sit there. Or, if he doesn't hit that, he'll hit this very large area of Bite, which does 50 damage, which is a lot. That's kind of crazy. Or this equally large area of Tackle, which would do 20. So that's actually the only way you could probably kill this Turtwig is by hitting him with Tackle or with a really strong Pokemon over Bite. He has 2 movement points, which is pretty quick for such an effective little guy. So really powerful figure if you really wanted to. Very good, very defensive for the game. Really cool. So, oh yeah, I actually didn't show the bottoms of the promos, but they have a different stamp down here, as we can see right here. They all say promo. There it is. Promo, Turtwig, and Turtwig is number 1 of the promos, and the numbers basically just kept on counting up for the next few series. So it's kind of hard to tell which ones are exactly for Next Quest, which ones are exactly for Groundbreakers, but I'm going to show you which ones I do have when we do get around to those series anyway, so don't worry about that, we will see them. And now, last and least, I was going to say but not least, but I hate Chimchar, is Chimchar. Chimchar is probably my least favorite Pokemon ever. I don't know why. You'd think I would like him. I don't know, he's a monkey with fire coming out of his butt. I don't know, maybe I just find that really stupid. But anyway, here is Chimchar. I don't really care for his pose. Actually, he's a little off balance. I could spin him just by doing that, which I feel like I should not be able to do because most of these figures, the center of gravity, like I said before, is being focused on, but Chimchar's kind of leaning out, which is kind of annoying if you were going to fight with it and spin it, because now he's like slapping his hand in a circle. I don't know. So, actually, for speaking of slapping his hand in a circle, his big attack right here, 50%, is Fury Swipes, which is basically the same thing as Charizard's Fire Spin, except that it's 20 times, not 50. So, Chimchar also has 3 movement points, which is really cool, really quick. Could actually stack up some Fury Swipes pretty quickly, but downside, does have a kind of a weak Ember, decently powerful though. Big chunk, 25%, and then another 25% of the Big Miss, which is the downside of this guy. So, I've never even considered fighting with him just because I hate Chimchar so much, and there's so many other cool figures in this series. I just really don't care for him much, but like I said, he will come with sets if you buy the boxes that'll come with the randomized packs, because typically you'll get Sinnoh that way. Generally, you don't know which one you're getting if you order them online nowadays, because people are just going to sell you whatever they have extra of. So that's basically how you get the Sinnoh starters. I basically told you how to get all of the other EX rares, all really cool, really nice. So that's basically it. That's basically the first set of the rarities that I'm going to show you for Pokemon TFG Next Quest. The next one I'm going to show you is probably going to be either the uncommons or the commons, because I don't have all of the rares yet. I'm going to make a video later where I can tell you which Pokemon I have extras of, so if you want to do some trades or anything, or if you have any advice on doing shiny painting, Give me all your info down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you guys about these figures. That's basically why I'm making these videos, because there really aren't any other videos like these. I want to see more people talking about these really awesome TFG figures. So, remember to like the video, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.